Would you like to take a look at the specific thought process that goes on in a leader's mind, or a troubleshooter's mind in this case, when trying to make adjustments to a business? That's what we're going to do today. Hello again, everybody. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And today we're going to take a look at all the things that we talk about in terms of what it takes to be successful and apply them to a specific entity, a library. So come along with us as Eli and I discuss changes that need to be made for the library. You know, Eli, years ago I used to be a troubleshooter for a major insurance company, one of the largest in the world, where they would send me around to different offices and say, go in, take a look, confirm for them what they're doing right, let us know what's going on wrong so that we can fix it, so we can make adjustments and we can move forward. Well, that's what we're going to do today. And as always, the very first step that any troubleshooter wants to make is to seize the data, which is to take a look at the situation as it is, take a look at the information that's available, and apply it. Now, we're going to be talking today about a library, and this particular library where I have a significant amount of inside information. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about with the library, once again, seizing the data, is that one of the things that is a measuring stick for a library is circulation. How many books get checked out, how many videos get checked out, that type of thing. Those are kind of the two major statistics, okay, is checking books out, because that's what a library is all about, is it not? Now, when looking at the data, this particular library, like most businesses today, now has an online presence. So it makes available to people video books and movies and all sorts of other different services that are available online. The numbers tell us that more and more and more people are working online. The numbers there are going up, and the numbers are going down for where people are checking books out. So one of the fears that the leadership of this particular library has, which is a good benevolent thing to think about, is the safety of the jobs of the people at the library. Because if the trend continues the way it's been going, we're going to need less and less people at the library. In fact, right now they don't have a self-checkout system. I know some libraries do that, but you know, just like at Walmart or your supermarket, where you go, you take your goods, you run them through, and you automatically check it out. I mean, that's the direction people are going. So we need less and less actual physical human beings to help with the process that always used to be done in person. And you don't need to have a crystal ball to take a look and understand the why and because. I mean, you take a look at an industry like, you know, a place like Walmart or Target or whatever. What they're doing is they're increasing their online presence as much as possible, because they realize that more and more and more people, especially younger people, are very comfortable going online and ordering their products online. It's people of my age that would rather go into the store and actually physically touch it, because we don't know, as a general rule, people my age typically don't know all there is to know about computers, and they get flustered by them and so on, and they hang on to what they already know. However, the newer generations coming up, they're all very comfortable. And you know, when I see people texting and I see them move their fingers like this faster than the speed of light, I say to myself, my God, these people are sending messages so fast. Whereas when I send a text message, it's like, all right? I mean, but that's the way society's headed. You have to take a look at that. You can't have, you know, horse and buggy thinking in an automobile world if you're in the transportation industry. Our public schools, more and more, are working with children on laptops and tablets, and so, I mean, that's becoming the norm. That's what people are comfortable with, and you have to see that in your business, because the mode of delivery is changing. I mean, you take a look as an example, a terrific example of that is I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, excuse me, There were video stores on every corner. There were mom and pop video stores. There was Blockbuster. I mean, there were video stores everywhere. Now, to find a video store, you really have to look hard. Why? Because the delivery system changed. People now do everything electronically. There used to be record stores. Those of you that are younger, some of you probably don't even know about record stores, but the delivery system changed. Everything is done online. So you have to take a look at society and you have to make adjustments in what you're doing. All right? Now, at this particular library, leadership is saying, boy, we really have to work hard to get people to take out more books, because that's how they measure us. That's how they measure how good we're doing. Hello? You have to take a look at society and realize that that trend where people are taking out hard books is, there'll still be some people taking out books, but it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller as more and more things get put on video where people can access their books from the computer. So understanding that, and understanding like that's the way that they measure how successful we're doing, you also have to understand that the measuring stick itself is becoming obsolete. You don't measure how fast the horse runs to determine how good the horse and buggy is anymore, because it's insignificant. People don't do horses and buggies, they do cars. That's the point. So one of the things as a leader is you have to assess the situation, you have to seize the data, and you have to make judgments. All right? One of the things that what you want to do in your business is you want to create a venue when you see that trends are changing, that was once commonplace, what was once mainstream is going the way of the horse and buggy, is you have to make adjustments, you have to create a venue that is unique, that adds value, and public demand will demand, if you do that, that it stays open even if the old measuring stick doesn't help you, because you can't fight technology. It is what it is, what it is. All right? Now, so what should this particular library do, in my very humble opinion? Well, first of all, realizing that that particular measuring stick is going to be obsolete very soon, is you have to say to yourself, the first question in business always is, why am I in business? What is my purpose? Why am I here? How do I serve? Well, the answer to any business, the first answer, the quick answer, the short answer is to add value. So what value does a library add to the community? Well, the library is an information center. And because the method of distribution, the old method of distribution, that is books, is starting to go like this, you have to think a little bit and say, all right, what information can I now distribute that will make me a unique place where we're changing our paradigm and we're still delivering to the public useful information? That's the thought process. That's what you have to think about. All right, so the starting point is always why. Second, you want to add value, distribute information. And one of the things that you want to look at, one of the things that I look at, like I said, I have intimate knowledge of the library, is the department distribution. They have a youth section, they have an information section, they have a circulation section. All right, these are all different sections, but these things are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller because people access stuff online now without any problem whatsoever. So what is it you're going to do that's going to bring people into the library? Well, one of the things, and this is one thing that they're doing, but they're not doing it on a grand enough scale. They started to have classes for sign language. Classes for sign language addresses the deaf community. Why not take that concept and make it massive? Have everything, all the different things that you can think of for the deaf community. Movies, books, whatever, all the, that's not an area of expertise for me. What I'm saying is, when you find a particular subject and you find a particular community, make your venue a showplace, a drawing card, a place where people in the deaf community, not just from the community at large, but all over the metropolitan area, can come and get something that's unique. Same thing is true with languages. They have a section on languages where a series on languages, all right? But it's like very small. It's not advertised super, very big, all right? And one of the things you want to do is, if you want to do something, put it on a grand scale. Have reasons for people to come into the library where they can get something that they can't get anywhere else. Now, in our particular community, the population is at least 1/3 Hispanic. Now, most people in the Hispanic community, they speak English, especially the kids, of course. But there's still a percentage of people that don't. Not only that, but sometimes, I've run into this several times, there are people that are in their 20s and 30s that don't speak Spanish, that are from the Hispanic community. They just speak English. So you need to have a Spanish English and English Spanish, right? Put it on a grand scale. The culture, the language, the history. Put it on a grand scale. Draw the Hispanic community in. Now, as you know, as you've been looking at Project Eli, my personal passion is personal development. Things they don't teach you in school. That would be a tremendous thing to have here, where you could have in the library. Because what could you could teach people the success formula, positive mental attitude, leadership, salesmanship. These are all things that not only can they be taught, but we also have the reference materials to back them up. That's one of the things about a library, is you want to teach and have the reference materials. Some of them are going to be online, some of them are going to be in hardcover, all right? But you want to have those two things, and you want to do it on a grand scale. You don't want to just dip your toe into the water. You want to be the venue where people are drawn from the entire metropolitan area to come and take advantage of something that you offer that is unique, that nobody else can do. What else can we offer? All right, well, in today's times, people graduate from college, and as soon as they do, they start looking in the want ads at an entry-level position. It's not like the old days where you had a college education, you were guaranteed a job. It doesn't work that way anymore. So one of the things that people need to understand is, what are all the different steps I have to take to get a job? From making a resume, from interview process, all right? And you don't want to, once again, you don't want to do that on a small scale. All of those types of different things you want to do on a grand scale. And that's going to be an ongoing thing, because there's always going to be new people graduating from school that need to learn those types of things. What else do we have here? People want to buy a house. Young families want to buy houses. Well, how about if you have an area where you specialize in buying houses? The point I'm getting at is there are all sorts of little mini communities in the greater community where people have definite interests. Instead of having your departments headed by the youth department, the information department, the circulation department, yeah, you have people that have to perform those functions, but you need to change your paradigm and focus on subject matter that's going to draw people into the library. Why? Because when people are coming into the library to gain information, which once again is the purpose of the library, right, is to distribute information, then they're going to profit, and it's adding value to the community. So the question should be, how can we best add value to the community, right? So one of the things that you want to do is you want to make your library, you want to create a vision for the public that when they come into the library, there's something for them to learn. There's something for them to move forward. There's something that they can get in the physical building that they can't get by going online and typing in different areas of interest. That's the point. So what has to happen? Well, obviously the people in the library are going to have to be challenged to learn new things. Now, there's two ways that you get people to change. As you know, if you've watched some of my videos, people get into their comfort zone. They have a specific job, they figure out an efficient way to perform their function, and when you ask them to do something different, they say, well, I don't, they're comfortable doing what they're doing. That's the nature of people. So there's two ways to get people that get people to move forward. One is desperation, and the other is inspiration. Now, if you're talking desperation, and this has happened at the library before, this particular library was threatened at one time with closure. And the powers that be did get the community to rally behind them, and the library remained open. But that doesn't mean it can't happen again. And as a matter of fact, when you take a look at the data, when you see the numbers of people that are going online, they might just say, well, let's make it online, and then all the people at the library will no longer be working there, okay? Or a smaller number of them will be working there. So how can you do something to save their jobs and benefit the community at the same time, and frankly benefit them at the same time? Is to expand their knowledge, to stretch what they have, to challenge them. So the two things that work are desperation, because if they say, hey, we're closing the library, then you say, well, what do I have to do to keep my job? I want to keep my job, I don't want to lose. Okay, that's one thing. And the other is inspiration. And how does inspiration work? Well, you sit down with the workforce and you say, folks, let's take a look at the numbers together. And you tell me what the trend is, and you tell me what's happening here, and you tell me, without a crystal ball, exactly what's going to happen if this continues, and you know it's going to continue. And they're going to say, well, we're not going to be needed much anymore, or fewer of us are going to be needed. So how do we solve this? Okay, you come up with an inspiring idea. Now, in this particular library, there is no quote-unquote vision that people go for. Remember, we talked about the same things that make you successful in a business, the same things that make you successful as an individual, the success formula, make you successful as a business. The key to a success explosion is to stretch yourself and your team to paint the picture of a vision in Technicolor and surround sound. The leaders must make the dream mammoth so that everybody can see that doing things the way that they've always been done will not get the job completed. The vision must inspire change and rock the culture. When products and methods become obsolete, the workforce is going to fight to maintain the status quo, even though the decline of the operation is obvious to everybody. And as we said, only two things motivate a workforce: inspiration or desperation. If you're told your product or services are no longer needed, the workforce, motivated by desperation, will offer to change to keep their jobs. Doesn't it make more sense to inspire the workers with a mammoth vision that stretches their skills and challenges their minds? They exercise control by means of a worthy and inspiring vision of what it might be that is arrived at jointly with their people. Managers get people to do. Leaders get people to want to do. Now, the vision is the magnetic north that sets the compass. The leader is the evangelist for the dream. If a leader displays no passion for a cause, why should anybody else? Leaders inspire the shared vision. They do that by showing how everyone will be served by the common purpose. Those in the organization who must produce the results, the folks on the front lines, must feel a sense of ownership of the dream. Only then will they feel inspired and empowered to use their energies to produce extraordinary results. The vision must be described in rich detail so that the workforce will know how to help select the proper route to getting there. The vision needs management, electricity, and concrete to be an effective connector. There must be a commitment from everyone. The key to commitment is to add value. Adding value is the antidote for temporary setbacks. It is the why that can add value to others. However, you as the leader must value others. Great leaders win over the hearts and minds of their people. Get into their hearts and their heads will follow. It's not just about visualizing the dream. It's how the accomplishment of the goal adds value to lives in an impactful way. We're talking about how society will profit from the efforts of the team. Continually paint the picture, sing the chorus, preach the sermon, and fan that flame. Concurrent to adding value to the consumer, commitment rises exponentially when it is married to promotion by performance for the team. Now, promotion can be mercenary, that is cash, or it can be spiritual, that is recognition. The point is, the more driving forces that you have in place, the stronger the commitment. The queen or the king bee is constantly sharing the vision and selling the dream to create a buzz in the hive in as many ways as possible. See how many different senses you can use in this process. Now, motion creates emotions. People need to see progress. It's progress that drives someone to give that extra effort to achieve more. Have a scoreboard that's visible upon entering the work arena that grabs you immediately. The more people are attuned to the vision and the more focus there is on the vision, the more commitment you will inspire and receive. If possible, have team and individual statistics displayed. Winning and recognition as an individual or as part of a team creates momentum. Big Mo motivates and inspires. Above all else, be a good finder. Positive feedback replenishes the blood supply and is the energy drink that enables your team to run a 3-minute mile. Without constant cheerleading and feedback, the workforce's mantra becomes, we, the uninformed, working for the inaccessible, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. Now, this mindset is prevalent in most of the organizations that merely use the politically correct buzzwords without laying that solid, concrete foundation. Without credibility, connection, clarity, and commitment, there's a total disconnect to the organization's blood flow. It's the difference between a living, growing, forward-moving environment and a hospice environment. Now, I've had the experience of spending considerable time in both a recovery medical facility and a hospice. In the former, there is a culture of optimism and growth. In the latter, the culture is to provide maximum comfort before death. Doesn't it seem that many declining businesses, Eli, place a higher emphasis on comfort? That's the way it's always been done. That's not in the charter. We don't have the resources for that. That is, they're BS excuses, bologna sandwiches. And they're more focused on that than they are on finding solutions. Instead of saying, we can't do that, they should be saying, how can we do that? It's the difference between lip service leadership and mission-driven leadership. The culture of an organization is driven by its mission statement. Too many organizations just pay lip service to their mission statement. It's like a tombstone in a cemetery. The mission statement is unveiled, then we visit it once or twice a year. The reason most mission statements miss their mark is because they're not turned into action. And the reason for this is that most missions do not provoke enough thought. A mission, by definition, is a religious quest, a doctrine to live and die by. We don't need weak mission statements. What we need is a destiny statement. It's what every individual should be thinking about on their way to and from the workplace. The destiny statement identifies a direction and a purpose. It's up to the chief executive to put a foot on the accelerator. There is no forward movement without a driver, a coach, a cheerleader, and a scorekeeper. Missions are determined. Destinies are predetermined. Any fate other than success is unacceptable. The super CEO wants to reinvent the game, not react to it. The destiny statement is sovereign. It is the Constitution. It is the Supreme Court. It is the blueprint that we have chosen to add value. It is not meant to be managed. It is meant to manage. When the focus of the culture is the destiny statement, everyone is of one mind. This one-mindedness is what generates creativity. When everyone's focus is on one objective, making the dream a reality, new and better ways of accomplishing goals will result. The culture is right when we become emotionally engaged with our dream every day. Every morning, we must make it a practice to imagine the payoff, the benefit, the contribution, the art, and the actions of that thing that we're doing. This unity of thought, this singleness of purpose, this definiteness of purpose impregnates the brain with creative ideas. Now, in part 2 of this troubleshooting exercise, we will discuss the wrong way and the right way to create a positive work culture. Our thought for the day: innovation is what separates a leader from a follower. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's all get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.